Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Beyond Technical. This week what I'm hoping to do is answer a couple of user questions that have been asked quite a few times and see if I can't kind of give a little bit better of a tutorial on a few things. I know episode 2 is a big massive tutorial, like kind of overshadowing everything you can do. This week what I wanted to do was just cover a little bit more in depth for a couple of topics. Those are going to be like jump-ins, cancels, basically punishes. That's the biggest thing that I want to cover is punishing. I know as a new player it's really tough, and we're going to cover this for new players specifically. So I'm not going to go into, okay, here's your 18-hit combo. It's going to be like 2 buttons, how do I punish? I was talking to a friend of mine who I've kind of been teaching little things about Street Fighter 2 lately, and he was jumping in with a light kick followed by 2 more light kicks, and he had nowhere to go with that. He was pulling 60 damage on a successful jump in. And I quickly sat him down and said, okay, look, here's an idea. How about you jump in with a medium kick into a crouching medium kick, and then you cancel. He was playing jury, and you can cancel into your pinwheel. I didn't actually know this was a combo, but I figured generally medium kick and medium punch go into combos, and so he did that, and he went from dealing 60 damage on a jump in to 220 damage, and that's a big difference. So that's where we're going to kind of try and cover today. So let's try and go into some training and see if I can't show you guys just a couple quick things about how you can kind of up your game and what you can do to just try and be a little bit better player and add in one step at a time. You don't want to go crazy. There's a ton to learn in this game. It literally will take you years to master it. So don't go nuts trying to figure it all out in a day. But at least we can kind of try and show a few things off. So a big one is when to block and when not to block. I'll try and cover that later on with an actual match, because blocking is kind of, well, it's kind of tough for me to do on my own and show you guys, and I don't have anybody around right now to kind of fight me and show it off. But punishing I can kind of explain. So I've got Balrog here, and Balrog he's my primary character, so I've learned a few little tricks on him. Now every character is different, so keep that in mind when you're trying to learn this stuff. You can't just, look at Balrog and instantly know how to play your character. Every character has different combos, different things like that, so you're going to want to learn that. And I don't have time to cover every single character in the game, but your bread and butter combo, Balrog, it's jab, jab, or light punch, light kick into a headbutt. And that is your bread and butter combo. I use it for every opening that I get, and I learned that right away, and that really upped my game with Balrog. So one thing I see a lot of players do when somebody like whiffs, say, a Shoryuken into them, and they don't know what to do. So you've got your crouch, you're standing right beside that person, and you're not sure. Generally, either medium kick or medium punch are going to be good ways to punish that. So with Balrog, a simple one you can do, you just medium punch into a headbutt. And if you pull that off, it pulls out what I deal there, 170 damage. So 170 damage is a lot better than, say, getting your one little jab in or screwing something up and pulling 20. You want to kind of optimize your damage output at every point in time. Now, as I said, as a new player, you're not going for the best damage possible every single time, because you're not going to be able to do that. Trust me, it takes a long time to learn your combos. But just try and figure out a way to go from 100 damage to 200 damage, just kind of step it up one little combo at a time. And most characters have that 2-point combo. Whatever their special is, you can cancel into it with one of their normals, and usually that's like a medium or a close heavy. So try and figure out what it is for your character and their bread and butter combo. But simply just doing one move and then canceling into your special is a really, really easy way to kind of step your game up from very, very novice beginner to kind of getting more into the medium or intermediate kind of style. Now, you have to make sure that this is, you need to know this so that when somebody does something to you, you can punish them. I'll try and just do some quick stuff here with Dan. Alright. So we've got just some quick Shoryukens here. So what happens when I block one? See how I can pull off that headbutt and actually get like a good punish off of it. Whereas opposed to trying to do something a little more complicated, it might be a little harder at first. You can just hammer out 2 quick buttons and pull out some solid damage. The other thing that I'll cover real quick here, because it's going to be important for pulling off these combos, is cancels. Dan here is just going to kind of stand around, but what we want to do is these cancels. Now you've probably heard me tapping the buttons and getting off from like a punch to a headbutt. So cancels, they're actually really easy. Links are hard, where you have to try and tap the button with 1 out of 60 frames to land a 1-frame link. That stuff gets complicated. But cancels are actually pretty easy. All you do is you just go from a move that's cancelable, like my medium, crouching medium punch, into a headbutt. So you just kind of, the timing can be a little bit wonky in this, so you don't want to hammer it exactly as fast as you can, but you just do the move, and then you do the next, your special move halfway through it, and it will actually cancel the animation. As opposed to doing this full punch and pull back, I can kind of do the punch and then jump up into that headbutt. So canceling, basically just practice it a little bit on your own and you'll really figure out how it works. But all you want to do is you just want to use your normal attack and then just hammer out your special right away. If you're really new, try spamming it to get the feel of it, and then try and work down to doing it properly where you just do the inputs one time. But a really easy one is to, use Ryu or Ken or something like that and cancel into their Shoryuken. You can do it from like a lot of different moves, and so it's really, really handy to kind of guaranteed land your specials. You don't want to just whiff specials out there, and when they're coming down, you don't want to just, if I block that Shoryuken, I don't want it to just headbutt, because there's my 100 damage, right? But if I can cancel the medium punch into a headbutt, I pull 170 damage. So those little extra moves, they add a lot to your game, so you don't want to just use specials. You want to definitely learn how to cancel normals into those specials, because it adds a lot of damage. The other thing I'd like to cover is your bread and butter combos are really important, because usually they can be followed up after a jump in. So when you jump in on somebody, I see this happen all the time, where let's say you're at a good range, you do your jump, and you just do 2 heavy kicks. It's not bad when you're brand new to do that. You get a knockdown, which lets you go for, say, another jump in or something along those lines, and you pull 190 damage. But what you want to learn how to do, and especially for using screen control, because you want to push these people a lot further, if you just do one quick jump in, you don't go very far. But if I do something along the lines of Balrog, like I use that jump in for opening up my combo. So with Balrog, you can jump in, follow up that whole combo, and there, like I've shoved Dan a lot further across the screen. I've upped my damage another chunk from 190 to 217, so there's an extra 30 damage on that combo. And you might not think that's a lot, but do that 2 or 3 times, and you've taken off an extra 10% of their health that match that you wouldn't have done otherwise. So with jump-ins, you really want to learn how to do some actual combos instead of just hammering out the the heavy. Because a lot of times it's not as efficient. You want to get some better damage, you want to get more push, because you always want to be pushing people towards the corner. The corner is the best spot in the whole game, and you want to do more damage, obviously, so you can pull all this stuff off. The other thing is, if I just did the double punch, sometimes it will get blocked. If you do it properly, it will go through. But if you can cancel into your specials, and especially this happens with a lot of characters, you can do extra stuff from it. So like with Balrog, if I do my whole combo and then I get my headbutt off and then I hammer this across, I can actually ultra. So I mean, I screwed that one up, but you get the idea of, if I do something, I can continue that combo, or I can keep pushing them, or I can get myself set up for a better thing. As opposed to just getting a heavy kick knockdown, there's not a whole lot of setup from that. So you really want to push and make sure that those jump-ins are as effective as possible, and that you can, kind of capitalize on every situation. So I hope this kind of demonstrations helped so far. We're going to do a match or two and kind of explain blocking and when it's a good idea to block and when it's not. Hopefully I can give you guys a good example on that. It's kind of tough because there's a ton of situations. Blocking is literally down to the numbers. How many frame advantage, or what's your frame advantage? What's going on? Where are you? What kind of specials? What characters are you playing against? What character are you? What normals do you have? Like, it's infinite in terms of the possibilities of when is a good idea to block and when isn't. Usually, though, a standard rule you can follow is, if you don't have a very easy counter, like, if I'm back with Balrog and Dan jumps right now and I have time to heavy, that's great. If he's already close to me, just block. Block it out and try and tech your way to throws. Blocking is really good. You want to block until they're done their combo. If I'm Balrog and I'm just swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, you trying to hammer out a quick punch in this is just going to get you counter hit, which gives me an even bigger opening. So definitely block your way out, and as you can see here, Balrog I'm slowly getting pushed away. So, I can't keep jabbing forever. Eventually I get back. At this point in time, I can throw one more punch in there. Now I've got more than half the screen away, Dan's completely open, and that's when he can attack. A big thing for me that I had to learn was to stop trying to get out mid-block. You have to sometimes just let people do these strings before you can attack them again. Most games, you don't really get that feeling. You get the idea of, I want to block and then counter hit or something like that. That's not how Street Fighter works. So let's move over to the video and see if we can't give a real-life demonstration of that. Alright, so what we got here is a Balrog versus Cody match that I've recorded from online. And I'm going to try and tell you, when blocking is a good call. So basically, you're going to see, like, okay, Cody's blocked 2 attacks. That was good because it pushed him back, and then he's safe to attack. This is a really tough thing to get used to as a new player. What I just did there is called the tick throw. The idea is that I know Cody's going to block a lot, so I actually tick him with one of my quick jabs and then into a throw. That kind of catches people that are just spam blocking. The idea is that you can see Cody's kind of waiting out my max range, and then he attacks. He lets me kind of push him out, and I kind of shove him back. Now, there's a couple moments that are going to show you why I picked this match specifically, in terms of when you should block and when you shouldn't. Now, just in terms of general match commentating, I'm doing a terrible job getting in on this Cody. He's just whipping rocks at me and stopping me all day. I really need some more practice on the turn punches. But you'll see here, Cody's low and he has a full ultra. I should block. There's no way I should have been trying to do a punch there. I was trying to get a quick, easy win, and I got caught and pushed straight into a full ultra for it. So that was a really big screw up on my part, and it's a super important thing to learn how to block, especially online. People are going to wake up ultra. Don't be unsafe when the match is almost over. In the early part of the match, you want to try and hit them as they get up, not at the end. So you see, Cody was just whipping rocks in my face, and he's going to eventually lose doing that because every character tends to have some answer to the Fireball War. So Balrog has his turn punch. If you do it at the right range, you will catch them like that. So you don't want to just spam any attack. Now back to trying to learn when to block. You see, as I get in there, I realize, like, okay, it's unsafe, so I need to start blocking after I get my turn punch off. Cody's doing a lot of kind of jumps and rocks and stuff like that, but he's doing a decent job of blocking when I do actually get in there. You see, I push him back a lot. Here I keep thinking I can catch him with a headbutt, and he just blocks his way to that really well. But the biggest one to show you on this one is blocking. When I'm doing a combo, he wants to block until he gets pushed to a safe range. When doing like a wake up, you want to block. Here I do a quick jab. The reason that works is because your jab kind of pulls back before the ultra will go off, so it's actually a really safe thing to do because it kind of baits people into their happy rising ultra. Just make sure if you're going to block until it pushes you to a safe range, and then that's when you can kind of open back up and attack again. So I hope that's helped you guys kind of learn a little bit about blocking. I know it's not an amazing example, but I'll keep trying to refresh these things as we go. And yeah, just make sure that you're blocking when you can, and that you're continuously trying to learn those bread and butter combos, learn how to do those punishes, and learn to block until you get pushed out. You don't want to keep hitting buttons while you're blocking. So have a great one. I'll see you guys next week, and if all goes well, we'll have a special guest on the show. I'll see you guys then.